many albums have you had?
4.
And no hits. Honey, find the songs that move you. Until you do that, you ain't going nowhere.
R-E-S-P-E-C-T. Find out what it means to me. R-E-S-P-E-C-T. Take care, T-C-D.
Aretha, you do talk, don't you? Not just sing?
I like you to call me Miss Franklin. You have to disturb the peace when you can't get no peace.
R-E-S-P-E-C-T. Find out what it means to me.
We've all been hurt at some point, even abandoned. Many of us have done the hurting ourselves. We get to the point where we don't trust anyone, nor do we feel worthy of being loved by anyone. Then there's that one person who just doesn't give up on loving you. Their love is unconditional. Their love stays long enough for you to heal. And then they promise to never leave. That's love you can count on. God's love.
Hey everybody, how you doing everybody all over the world? The PIC TV network is on once again. We want to say thank you for watching our news segment, our news talk tonight. We always open up and we want to say thank you again to our listeners, those who are watching in Hungary, Brazil, France, Argentina, Nicaragua, United States, Colombia, Mexico, Guatemala, United Kingdom, Germany. Last night we were on live in Germany. Matter of fact, Panama, Ireland, Peru, Chile, Canada, the Burke family. Hello, and the rest of the world. We're so happy for all of you watching our news talk segment. And you know we have a hot topic tonight. Everybody who's watching, we want to thank you for your time. Those in your homes, those who are watching on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, all the social media platforms, even listening on Clubhouse, we want to say thank you. We always want to say to our special news team, today we have Michelle, the computer lady, from Atlanta, Georgia. She's also the PIC TV network public relations person. And we also say Patty. Patty is here from New York. Patty is just a bubble of joy. And she's on tonight. She's also our manager. She's on our management team from New York. And then we have a newcomer on tonight. Kimberly is here from Virginia. Her and her wonderful husband. Thank you again for watching the PIC TV Network News segment. And we're going to get right into it, everybody. You know, we're facing a crisis in America. And this crisis today, from COVID-19 to the Delta, many people have lost their lives, and many people are going through stress right now because we don't know what's going to happen. I'm going to go right into it with Michelle. Michelle, explain to the world again what's going on with this Delta and why is it so important for us to follow the rules, follow the science, and get the shots if we want to stay alive.
Well, let's think about it. And to be clear, if you don't want to get a shot, then at least follow the mask mandate, because some people feel that it's their right not to vaccinate. But we've known and it's been shown that when folks are getting vaccinated, what's happening is it's starting to help the numbers reduce. Now, the other problem that we have is you got people like me. I have pre-existing conditions, breast cancer, sarcoidosis, hip fracture. So while vaccinating might not be your cup of tea, but in public right now, if you're wearing a mask, that's going to help. because what we want to do is try to slow the transmission down. What's been happening, and even here, but in other countries, we got a hot spot. But just think, India thought it was over. And then within 3 weeks, they had 17 million infections. And as of this month, Florida has as many record infections as it had in January. So we have not turned this thing around. The other thing about the Delta variant, it's affecting young people. When I'm talking about young people, I'm talking about folks 40 and under. It's affecting children. They are seeing a rise in the infections with this Delta variant in children. So you might not want to save an old person like me, but what about our future? What about our children? What about others? And that's what I always try to get everybody to think about. Patty, to you. Unmute me.
Ooh. So yeah. So you know what? Numbers don't lie, right? We could all agree with that. And analytics say a lot, and thank God that we have that now. Just think of, back in the day, 100 years ago, they didn't have these. So why not take that to our advantage? Let's use those analytics. Everybody owns a phone, right? Everybody, we have these devices. You just have to go to the CDC. You should be able to trust a site like CDC, and right there it tells you. And you know what? If you just open your eyes and see they make all the hot spots, and it's pretty much all of America at this point. Obviously we have those states like Florida right now are really bad, and I have a family member that actually went down to vacation, and guess what? She was double vaccinated and she got the corona.
Wow.
And just really thank God she's like, she didn't have to go to the hospital, and she's hanging in there, and she's but she had to like go into a different room, and like her family had to hand her stuff and leave it at the door, and she's doing okay. But the point is, you think you're safe because you're double vaxxed, but this is still out there. So even if, whether you're vaxxed or not, the mask has to go back on. I think I think it's starting to get a little like crazy. And again, just look at the numbers, and that's what just came to my mind as you were talking. I'm just thinking, oh my goodness, here we go again. And over to you. I'm backwards. Over to you, Kimberly. I'd like to hear what you have to say.
I agree with both of you. At this point in time, I feel like as human beings, we should be doing the best that we can possibly do for each other. It's a mask. We're not asking you to, do something that costs money. When you walk in, they will give you a mask. So, whether you decide to take the vaccine or not, if your health allows it, that's one thing. But even if you are vaccinated, we should still be taking care and taking to heart everyone else around us. So in my opinion, as human beings, we should be caring about human beings. And a mask is not that much of an inconvenience, not when it comes to me, and in my opinion, not when it comes to someone else's health. So whether you're vaccinated or not, as we know that even if you're vaccinated, you can pick up this new Delta variant, and we need to protect each other. That's what we're here for. As human beings, we are meant to be gregarious. We're meant to live life together, and living life together means taking care of each other. And if I want someone to take care of me, I definitely want to take care of someone else. And if that means I need to wear a mask, then absolutely. So that's my opinion, and I think it's the least we can do as human beings.
And I agree. Dr. Evans?
It's so important for all of us to understand that we're living in a time that we never lived before. Last year, this time, my sister Brenda was alive. My mother's birthday is today. My mother had been gone since 1997. My sister, I talked to her Saturday. She was gone on Sunday. When they picked her up, she didn't want to go. She was kicking and screaming, "I don't want to go. Don't let me go." Nobody could ride with her due to COVID. When she got into that ambulance, she had to be against them, and she never made it. The ride to Washington Hospital Center was 10 minutes. They said it was all the beds was full. So it took her 30 minutes, 45 minutes to go to Howard University Hospital. Had there been a bed, my sister may have been alive. Had it been COVID not been there, my niece could have rode with her. That's one of those things I have to live with, with when I see so many people who've gone. I mean, my close friends, they're gone just like that. I think Michelle was talking last week, she lost 50 people last year. And I don't think this thing is really gone nowhere. I think, Michelle, my wife, this Friday, Kimberly, this Friday, Patty, my wife has to go to a double funeral, her aunt passed on Sunday, her daughter passed on Monday.
You see, now this affects, I'm sorry to interrupt, but you see, when you're talking like this, you're holding it together really well, and I appreciate you sharing so vulnerably, but this brings the healthcare crisis to the mental wellness, when the trauma of losing it's already hard to lose one person, but to lose so many in such a short time, this is traumatizing, and that's another concern in the healthcare crisis. Like the trauma, first of all, the trauma of being afraid to get the corona, right? And now the trauma of losing so many. It's already, oh my goodness. Michelle, what do you have to say?
Well, my brother's wife died, and she was my age. And then my friend Sam died. And then I have lots of other people that have passed away. And so for me, this represents, number one, all the people that we've lost, almost 700,000 so far. That's all the people that have fought in all the wars that we've had in the United States. Literally all the war involvement in less than 1 year. And it's not gone. What we have to realize, and we have to bring our humanity back into this, is that it's not just about our individual freedoms. It's about our future. If we don't love each other, and whether you get the vaccine or not, if you just wear the mask, do the social distancing, know that we've had pandemics before. We didn't listen during the Spanish flu. We thought it was over. It came back and millions died. Millions died. Over 1 million people here in the United States. The thing about it is, anytime we don't learn our history, we're doomed to repeat it. I don't want to see 1 million plus deaths here in the United States. There have already been 1 million plus deaths around the world. This is the time that we really need to, number one, as Patty says, think about the mental health aspect. Nobody wants to get this thing, but people have gotten it. Some people have gotten through it. But again, we know of people that have caught it multiple times. And a couple of people that have caught it multiple times didn't make it through. I don't want this for your loved ones, my loved ones, or anyone else to have to consistently feel this death when it's something that we can help prevent. Because I know that, God knows our time, but sometimes we can preempt our time when we can't be decent enough and respectful enough to do little things. And wearing a mask is a small price to pay to help your neighbor breathe and live. Dr. Evans, we're going to give this back to you.
Yeah, I'm just so I'm lost for words from time to time. When I don't think I've ever been in my 58 years or 59 years on the planet having two people in one funeral home at the same time. It's tough. It's tough enough for one, but to see her daughter and her aunt at the same time. Pray for my family. Pray for my wife. My mother-in-law is here. She came in town from Charlotte, North Carolina. She's staying with us for the next 2 weeks. Yeah, do what you have to do to stay safe, because somebody else can live if you just wear your mask. If you decide to get the shot, that's good. We got a better shot. It's better than doing nothing. I'm gonna throw it back to Kimberly for a minute. Kimberly, I'm gonna ask you. You're in Virginia. You and your husband, family there. What about the kids, the grandkids, Kimberly, coming up? Talk a little bit about how you got to talk to them about what's going on mentally.
Well, as you know, my husband works for the government, and they take that very, very seriously. He's tested every 3 days. We've explained it to the children and our grandchildren. The hardest part has been explaining it to the 3 and 4 year old when this started. Now they're 4 and 5. That why we're having to wear it, and to see the children that are 4 and 5 be able to understand it and say, okay, well, let's put the mask on. But to see grown adults that just will refuse to accept the fact that it's a mask. I know that we always say, as a child thinketh, and, out of the mouth of babes, but I've literally had my grandchildren with me, and my granddaughter has said, Mama, why doesn't she have on a mask? And explaining that to your grandchildren is hard. When you've explained it to them and you say that we're doing this to make sure we're protecting everyone else, and children can get it. To me, in our world, as divisive as it is, this is the one thing that unites us globally. It's a mask. We're just asking you to wear a mask. So back to you, Dr. David.
Yeah, it's so important, for us to realize, again, we have to do whatever we can do to stay together in the crisis that we're in. My wife did a conference on Saturday for leadership. And they gave her a handbag, and the handbag had masks in it. They gave her a whole box of masks. I was like, give me one. So we all know the rules. I'm going to ask Michelle again. I see you, Michelle. I always, before we go to a commercial break, Michelle, do you think we may have another shutdown? Somebody told me if we have another shutdown, it will be a collapse. Somebody told me from the CDC, we are going to have a shutdown. It's 100%. I don't know, Michelle. You in Atlanta, Georgia. Patty is in New York. We have Kimberly in Virginia. I'm in Washington, D.C. I'm hearing so many things. I know in God we must trust, and because He's going to take us through. But Michelle, talk to us. And I don't want to put any fear in anybody, but is there a possibility for a shutdown again?
Of course, there's a possibility for a shutdown. And let's be really realistic. If the numbers continue to climb and the hospitalizations continue to climb, yes, they have to look at that. Now, I'm a business person. Would I like to see a shutdown? Absolutely not. But I know there's one sure way that can help us avert that. And that's if we start to wear our mask. If you don't want to get a shot, I'm fine. I got it. It's your personal right. But a mask can help. And the other thing I'd like to see, and if President Biden or Dr. Jill Biden, if you're hearing me, I would like us to bring sanitation protocols where we're steam cleaning the streets and we're really dropping the Lysol aerosols in our space, because that's one of the things that the Chinese done that we haven't done right now. We haven't done the sanitation protocols, because think about the virus, and I want everybody to just hear this for a second. If you get it, it gets in your throat, it gets in your nasal passages, in your mouth. So when you have a cold, you normally want to spit, right? Well, if people are spitting on sidewalks and they have the COVID and you step in the spittle, you bring it home with you. That's how a lot of this is spreading because people are like, is it airborne? Yes, if you're outside without a mask and you're spitting and you have COVID, then you're spreading it and people are taking it home with them. That's why outside of our house, we have a little box and we have Lysol so we can spray our shoes before we come in. We can spray ourselves. These are some of the ways that you can start to protect yourself. The other ways are just making sure that, number one, social distancing. Other things, I know we want freedom. I know we want vacations. I know that we want to see people. But if they're not vaxxed, then you need to have masks with them. Because this Delta variant, people that are vaccinated can now spread it. So protect yourself and protect our children. Patty, what do you think?
Well, it's funny because I'm also, have been a beautician for 30 years. So when we went back to work, we were still wearing a mask. I got kind of used to it. I was excited to take it off, but it's funny like how humans adapt, and then look, again, numbers don't lie. The numbers went down. People were starting to get out of the hospitals. Everybody, again, that's because we were all wearing the masks. And, what I'm happy that because it was my profession, I had to get past the fear and just trust the process, and God also had, you just got to do a lot of praying and hope he doesn't get your number. But, all kidding aside, I couldn't be stuck in, again, going back to the healthcare of mental state when this is happening. I couldn't get stuck in paralyzed because I had to go to work and I had to be able to do that without, but then speaking to clients that had family members that were stuck and paralyzed and they were immobilized. They were just so afraid of getting sick because of the deaths that their whole life like caved in, not only paused but like imploded, and they really are still, some people, I can believe, but it's upsetting to hear, and I feel like between that and now the numbers going up again, like I'm starting to get those feelings in my belly, like nerves are starting to rumble, and now I have to do some traveling. I'm going down to Miami of all places, and I just have to go back to basics. What the CDC, July 31st, they said, please put on the mask whether you're vaccinated or not. Let's listen to them. Let's listen to them. I'm not saying if you're going for a walk in the park and there's nobody next to you, okay, don't wear a mask. But you know what? If you're going to be in close contact indoors, wear the mask. We don't need to see so many people dying, because it affects not only, people dying, but then the lifestyle of the people that are left behind. So that's what, my take on it is. And Kimberly, how about you? I can go Kimberly over here.
I think that we are getting ready to head into a very pivotal time period. We have students, rising freshmen, college freshmen, that have gone through this, and I want to implore these youngsters, the young millennials that can really control this. I know that they have been through a tumultuous year and a half. And I know that, going your freshman year in college and some of them are going to be sophomores in college and they've not been on campus before. I want to implore them, I understand that you want to spend time with your friends, but even if you have the actual vaccine, we need to make sure that these colleges are amply making sure that the masks are available, readily available. And I understand, that they've gone through a lot, but that age group is so powerful. And when they get together, they can really accomplish a lot. So my goal is to make sure that they understand that they do have power, because sometimes they feel like they're powerless. And at that age, you're still trying to figure things out. So when you go back, be that example, show the rest of the world that you are what we know that you can be. Rise up and take part in this, and just wear a mask. So that's where I stand on it. And I really, I'm really happy that there are schools that are really thinking this through and going, okay, we're going to go back, but we're going to make mask mandated. And I think for us as a whole, in the United States, that is what's best for us. And we need to remember that as citizens of the United States, or non-citizens as the United States, as human beings, that we are here together. And as being a human being, whether you are in the workforce, whether you are a stay-at-home mom, whether you're a teacher, a student, your actions have a reaction to someone else. And a mask is not anything that is hard for you to actually take care of. And that's where I am with it. So
that's amazing. It's
Go ahead,
amazing.
Dr. Evans, because we all agree. Because I know people that cannot get vaxxed. They have a health condition that they're already compromised, or they have talked to their doctor and vaccination might not be for them. But wearing a mask, and even I've got my esteemed colleague, she has anxiety, and I have talked her through. And so I want to talk to everybody about, number one, getting a mask that fits you, that's good for you. So this is your standard hospital. This is your standard non-hospital mask, but they have the NK95s, and the NK95s aren't quite as restrictive. Get an NK95, but find a mask. And what I always tell everybody is to practice wearing the mask. So if you practice, and I need you to say this, okay, I'm going to take a deep breath. I'm going to breathe. I'm going to close my eyes. I'm going to breathe. I'm going to look around, and you're safe and you're okay. Some people have anxiety to masks. We understand that because we talk about the healthcare part of this, or the mental health part of this. The mental health part of this is some people feel claustrophobic in masks, but at the same time, we understand that fear. But we want, as human beings, not that we only understand the fear, that we're here to support you, but we can support you better if we're not having to come to your funeral. All right, Dr. Evans, back to you.
I'm telling you, I'm always amazed at information that comes through our television presentation on our news. American health crisis. Many of you watching us on the PIC TV network, we don't cut corners. We talk and we share information. It's not censored. This is live. These are real people. It's not pre-recorded, cut it and edit it. When you hear from Kimberly, it's live, and she's talking from her heart. She's talking from her experience. She talked about her husband and the kids. Patty from New York. I don't want to go back to where we were last year when so many people were dying. Every time you pick up the phone, there's so many people, they just stopped counting the deaths. It was just so crazy. We're going to come right back after this commercial break with part 2 before we close. Don't touch that dial. You're watching the PIC TV Network News Talk. We're going to be right back right after this.
How many albums have you had?
4.
And no hits. Honey, find the songs that move you. Until you do that, you ain't going nowhere.
R-E-S-P-E-C-T. Find out what it means to me. R-E-S-P-E-C-T. Take care, T-C-D.
Aretha, you do talk, don't you? Not just sing?
I like you to call me Miss Franklin. You have to disturb the peace when you can't get no peace.
R-E-S-P-E-C-T. Find out what it means to me.
Everybody, this is David Evans from the PIC TV network. I'm coming to my house and I see this box here. Box is on my porch. Let me check it out and see what's going on. So I got this box. So let's see. It's to me, which is good. That's one thing. Well, I like the COVID-19, I like to open my books out, open my gifts outside. Let me take it in my garage and see what is this box coming to my house. Let me see something. So, let's go here and see what this is. UPS, yep, that's me. Just open this thing up. The box came in the mail to me from New York, so just open this thing up. See what's here. Box in the mail. Yes. What's here? Open this up. Wow, look like picture of my mom. Wow. Let's see. I know this is from New York. Pat. Wow. All the way UPS. This is beautiful mug. So I'm gonna have to use this again. This is a picture mug. And that picture is my mom. It's my mom, who I love so much, who passed away 1997. Thank you, Pat. Wow. Everyone wants to be remembered. Wow, this is beautiful. This is beautiful. I'm so happy. My mom's mug. Wow, this is beautiful. You know, I can look up there and know my mom is smiling. You know, I want to thank you, Pat. Thank you, Pat, for shipping this to my home. Picture my mom on this mug, Mother Evans. She's the greatest woman on earth to me. When she passed away in 1997, I had the honor of speaking at her funeral, preaching her funeral, giving the
final solution message. You know, my brother Kenny, Junior, Darlene, Esther, Edie, Elaine, all proud of this beautiful, beautiful, beautiful mom. I know those who are watching right now, this is beautiful. I want to thank Pat for shipping this to my home. Thank you, Pat, for shipping this from New York to my home. And I'm just so happy.
Hey everybody, thank you again for watching the news segment on the PIC TV network. I'm so happy, and today is my mother's birthday. Mother Evans, she lives in heaven and she lives in my heart, and when I received that mug, that's the first time I had anything. I think I'm gonna go get it when we go to a break, and I'm a mama's baby, or always will be. Out of the 9 kids, my mother had a special love for me and my dad. The greatest feeling in the world is sleeping between your mother and father when you're young. It's like 2 elephants. I'm sorry, I just knocked.
I was enjoying the tales.
Yeah, I remember when I was a kid, because when it was really cold, my mom and dad would put me in the middle to heat them up. But one time I got trapped and like, Mom and Dad, I gotta use the restroom. Wake up. It was too funny shaking them, because they were like, with us 6 kids, we lived in a really small place at one time, so we all kind of had to huddle up. So I understand.
Who gets a pillow? My husband came from a big family, and he said, you know what? A pillow was a hot commodity.
He said a mouthful, but we used to make our own. My mom and my dad was from Louisiana, so they were used to making a lot of stuff. So, I learned how to just hand sew and stitch. And so we used to take our old clothes, especially the cotton ones, and shred them and make our own pillows. So that's what we did back in the day. You didn't get a pillow for like forever. I didn't have new pillows until I went off to college. That's something your sister, your brother would give you in your little care package. You go off to college, you get a pillow of your own. You're like, oh, I got a new pillow, and stuff like that. But those family times are really, really, really special. And speaking of family, let's talk about Aretha Franklin's new biop. It's coming out this Friday, and everybody, I'm sure you've seen the trailer. Jennifer Hudson is playing the role of her life. Did you know that Aretha Franklin picked her for this role? And this movie has been in production for the last 4 years, and now it's coming to the big screen. So Aretha Franklin asked Jennifer Hudson to play her in this biop, and it's going to be amazing. I know that I'm going to see it, be masked up, sprayed up, but I'm going. If not, I'm probably going to stream it, but I got to support. I remember growing up with Aretha. My favorite song is Natural Woman, of course. That's one of the favorite ones. Everybody knows Respect, but I love to hear her gospel. I heard her sing Mary Don't You Weep, one of my favorites. I probably play it at least once or twice a week. So what do you think, Patty? Tell us what you think about
RESPECT. I first of all, Jennifer Hudson is like the perfect. Just seeing that trailer, wow, right? Like I was like, oh, don't stop. When it was just the trailer, please don't stop. I want more. I'm very excited about it. Well, how about you, Kimberly? What are your takeaways with Aretha?
To me, can you imagine having Aretha Franklin pick you, the honor that you would receive to have. I mean, we all know Jennifer Hudson is massively talented, but Aretha, I mean, for her to handpick her to play her in a biopic, that has to be like the pinnacle of what Jennifer's reached. So I am so excited about it. Even my children, because of course they've listened to that music ever since they were growing up. So even my sons have been like, okay, are we doing this as a family or what are we doing? It's like, yeah, we're going to see this movie. So yeah, I'm really excited about it. I really am. So
Michelle, are you waiting to hear like Jennifer Hudson's like future speech? You know, she's gonna be like the new Meryl Streep, you know?
Well, remember, she's already an EGOT. She already has an Emmy, a Grammy, an Oscar, and a Tony. And so this is just layering on. And think about it. Think about the soundtrack of what that's going to sound like when it comes out. Because I know I'm going to buy that. I'm going to go to the movies. I'm going to buy the DVD, the Blu-ray, and I'm also going to buy the soundtrack and probably play it until the concentric circles are worn thin. But you have to think about how empowering it is for women when we think about Aretha and Aretha's life. A lot of the things, especially me coming up as a young girl, hearing Aretha, knowing that she came up in the church, knowing her family struggles, and her father was a famous pastor, the Reverend C.L. Franklin. And so, growing up in Mississippi, we heard a lot of the pastors would come through for revivals and things of that nature. So, the fact that she got this training, it was ordained. Her voice was amazing. When she was little, she was already singing in the church. So now she grew up and she had a fantastic career. I mean, she sang everything from rhythm and blues, gospel, opera, jazz, anything you put in front of Aretha, she could sing it and she just would weave it and make it her own style. I even have Christmas songs that Aretha Franklin sang. So the versatility, and then you got Jennifer Hudson. I'm waiting for Jennifer Hudson to make a gospel album. This will be as close as she'll get to it, but I'm telling you, she should make a gospel album and then come back with another jazz album herself. Her voice is utterly amazing. I remember this, and Simon Cowell, you can take this to the bank. Jennifer Hudson, you'll only go this far. Crow you ate, crow you continue to eat. Patty, back to you.
Redemption. That's what I call a redemption. And you know what I love to say? The Karma Cafe. It's open 24 hours. And you know what about that trailer too? And what a class act. What a classy woman. And not because of the clothes she's wearing, the respect that she commands. Oh, wow. It's like, oh, and what a great time in the world to be presenting it. Really, I'm just so excited about it too. You know, I'm so happy that you brought it to light because I didn't even realize that was happening behind the scenes. Yeah.
And Patty, to mention to actually springboard off what you said, the way that even to this day that Aretha Franklin holds herself, just the way she presents herself and the esteem and the power and the confidence she has, and to have had it from that, that period of an age and coming in, she is such a role model to us as women. Absolutely such a role model to us as women. So.
And that is one of the things that I am so happy about. This Friday, get your tickets no matter where you are and go see Aretha Franklin movie. Of course, follow the protocols. If you can get it and you can buy it off streaming, do that. But number one, the Queen of Soul, you get to see the buyout. Jennifer Hudson, all the way from American Idol to EGOT. And now she's playing Aretha Franklin in theaters this Friday. Dr. Evans, come on board.
I want to
Back to
add
you.
before, but you know what? I also want to add that to show the true support is important because Monique Lisa, who's in the film industry, she mentioned like going to the theater actually makes a difference in their life, in their contracts, in how they're receiving their royalties, and they put the work in, you know. So if we really want to show our support, going to the big screen is actually the best thing we could do. And really, there's nothing like the big screen. Really, that's just like, it's been so long, and I'm ready.
So am I. So am I. And Michelle, I have to say, maybe we need to start like a petition because I'm right there with you when it comes to Jennifer Hudson doing a gospel album. That would be an absolute #1 hit. Like unbelievable. Yes, #1. Yeah. She is, her voice, the range in her voice is fantastic. Absolutely.
It is crazy. It gives me chills when I hear her sing. And I all her albums I have. I really I'm like, please God, let her make a gospel album. There's so many things that she can do with her range. Her voice is amazing. And I still have Dreamgirls. I've probably worn out 2 Dreamgirl movies. And we know that they wanted Beyonce to get that Oscar, but when Jennifer Hudson came through there and sang and not sing, she sang. I'm telling you, I'm not going. Oh, showstopper. And it's such a showstopper. My granddaughter, she was younger then. She knew as she was like Jennifer Hudson. Anytime Jennifer Hudson was on, she'd be singing. She'd grab her little fake mic and she'd be singing because she's like, I'm going to be like Jennifer Hudson. So amazing stuff, amazing stuff. I'm glad to live in this time. Dr. Evans, are you back with us yet? I know you were having some technical difficulties.
No, oh, you know how to close it out, Michelle, so we can get ready for round 2. It's all yours.
All right. So now we've talked about Aretha Franklin. We've talked about the health crisis. But for those folks that don't know about Aretha Franklin or didn't know, she died of pancreatic cancer. But she also had some pre-existing conditions. She was fighting diabetes. And obesity and diabetes are really, really 2 things in America that we can do something to stop. Number 1, we have to go back to walking like we used to. We have to go back to making sure that we eat to live instead of living to eat. When I say eat to live, the Council on Nutrition always talks about 2,000 calories. You only really need 2,000 calories if you are out there farming and you get up at 5 o'clock in the morning and you go to bed at 8 o'clock in the night and you're doing such hard labor. Your body can live off literally 1,600 calories. Now, what's a calorie? Well, a calorie is fuel for the body. And it's okay that you eat. Nobody's saying don't eat. But some of the things that we could cut out of our diet, we should. And I'm not saying cut everything out. Just a little bit at a time. Back off a little bit at a time. And look, I'm preaching to me too. I got a challenge for everybody. I've got really a quarter, 4 months, and I'm going to be losing 30 pounds. And I'm going to make everybody here hold me accountable. I'm doing my exercises. I'm eating less. And I'm doing a lot of walking because during COVID and I had a hip break, so I'm coming back. But I want to challenge everybody everybody across the world to help us eradicate type 2 diabetes. And type 2 diabetes is one of these pre-existing conditions that COVID and the Delta variant is jumping all over because that heart disease and high blood pressure, people that have these pre-existing conditions, what ends up happening is it's a precursor to getting this if you're not vaccinated. So mask up. We're going to see you in the next segment. We're going to continue to talk about Aretha Franklin. We love you at PIC TV Network. For Dr. Evans, we got Patricia in New York. We've got our new affiliate, Kimberly in Virginia. Thank you so much for watching.
And Michelle, remember, we love to drink our water.
Patty, thank you for saying that. You know what, Michelle? I love the fact that you stated that you were going to help us hold you accountable. Every day, if we are putting out that challenge to everyone else, if you would just one time a day have a bottle of water instead of that soda, and each day do it 1% better than you did the day before, you would be amazed at how much it would change your life. So,
and she said a mouthful. We're going to see everybody in the next segment. Thank you to all our viewers all over the world. We thank you for supporting the PIC TV network. We've got a lot of good shows coming on in our fall lineup. And don't forget, if you want to be on PIC TV, send us an email at the pictvnetwork@gmail.com. If you're an author, you have a business, we have our spotlight, and we're doing a whole lot of wonderful things on the PIC TV network. We'll see you next segment. From Patricia in New York to Kimberly in Virginia, I'm Michelle in Atlanta, and to Dr. Evans in Washington, D.C. We'll see you real soon.
R-E-S-P-E-C-T, find out what it means to me. What you want, baby, I got what you need, you know I got it. All I'm asking is for.
How many albums have you had?
4.
And no hits. Honey, find the songs that move you. Until you do that, you ain't going nowhere.
R-E-S-P-E-C-T, find out what it means to me. R-E-S-P-E-C-T, take care, T-C-D.
Aretha, you do talk, don't you? Not just sing?
I like you to call me Miss Franklin. You have to disturb the peace when you can't get no peace.
R-E-S-P-E-C-T, find out what it means to me.